Hello and welcome. This is Angie with thecountryshootcottage.net, and today I'm using my Cricut Explore Air 2 to make a fun project. So we're going to actually make a fish toss game that makes a great gift for toddlers and preschoolers. So this video is sponsored by Cricut, however all projects and opinions are my own. So if you think, wow, they're coming out with all these new tools for the Cricut Maker, what am I going to do with my Cricut Explore Air 2? Do I need to upgrade? You don't have to upgrade. You can absolutely upgrade and get the new tools, but you can stick with the Explore Air 2 and still make tons of great projects. So this project uses felt, uses regular iron-on, uses the new mosaic iron-on, as well as vinyl. So you can cut all those with your Explore Air 2 and make a fun fish game. So how are we going to do that? So we're going to do it with a bucket. We're going to do a vinyl design on the front of it like a shark, and then they can throw in beanbag fish. It's just a fun game. So you can make as many or as few as of these beanbag fish as you would like. And they're actually made out of felt, cut with the Cricut Explore Air 2, as well as some regular iron-on and this great mosaic iron-on, if you can see that. So it's super fun, and if you've never used this before, there are some tips and tricks for it as well. So let's get started cutting our project. So we're going to use our Explore Air 2 to make this project. You're going to need some vinyl. You're going to need everyday iron-on in black, as well as the holographic iron-on mosaic. And then we'll also need our easy press, a bucket, some felt, and then you'll also need something to add in your bean bags. You could use rice, but I'm going to use these small stones to put in mine. So first we're going to cut all of our pieces, and I'm going to cut the felt first. And then we have pieces of cut felt, and I'll continue to cut the rest of the felt pieces. If you have any trouble cutting the felt on your Explore Air 2, just be sure to use a brayer and bray the felt down really well on the mat. You can also change the grip strength of your mat or get a new blade, but it will cut felt nicely. Next up, we're going to cut the vinyl for the front of our bucket. So we can just actually change the dial to vinyl, then cut our design. Now we can remove that and we'll weed it. Now we can just use a weeding tool and weed away all the excess vinyl. So we just want to leave behind everything we want transferred to our bucket. Then we'll actually use transfer tape to transfer the design to the bucket. First, let's cut the rest of our pieces. So this mosaic iron-on is a bit different from perhaps anything you've used before. So it actually, we're going to get into this in a minute, but it actually has a double liner. So first we're just going to remove the tape holding the roll. And then you can see it has a sheet for protection, and we can actually just toss this sheet, or you can keep it and roll up your excess if you're not going to use the whole sheet. So I'm going to set this to the side because I'm only going to use about half this sheet. And then there's one side that's your good side, and the other side you can actually feel the dots on the bad side, and that goes against the mat. And then you're going to want to mirror your canvas before cutting, so you can do that right in Cricut Design Space. And then once we have it on the mat, we can head to our Cricut machine and cut our fish scales. And then we'll pick the holographic mosaic iron-on in Cricut Design Space. Then we'll just cut our project with the fine point blade. The weeding on this one's a bit different, so let's take a look. So next we're going to weed this mosaic iron-on. So what we can actually do is kind of grab it in the corner, and you will find two liners. So you'll find you want to leave the first liner and start pulling on the top liner, and we have it upside down. So we have the good side down, bad side up, and you just want to start pulling on it, and you can see that it will come off in one piece. You don't have to weed all those little circles. You just need to pull back and everything will come off in one sheet. So we're just going to continue and weed all of our fish scales. We have one more piece left, and that's our eyes and mouth, and those were actually cut out of just black everyday iron-on. Once again, just be sure to mirror your design, place the good side down on your mat, and then weed away all your excess. And now we have all our pieces to start assembling our game. So each fish is double-sided, so you'll want to do the mirror image of each other, so when you put them together they have a front and back. And then you can actually press these all at once or one at a time, and we'll just do them one at a time just for illustration purposes, because I'm going to use my small easy press for this one. So you just want to locate everything and just press down and apply light pressure to the handle for the full amount of time. Then once the easy press beeps, we can move it over to the side, and then we can peel off our liner sheet. So I do let this cool just a little bit so that it's not so warm that it burns your hands, and then you can just start peeling back your liners. So the first one is easy, so that's just the everyday iron-on that we cut out of black. So this one is our holographic, and remember it has that double carrier sheet. So the first carrier sheet will peel back pretty easily, but then there is a second one that is on your piece, and you'll need to find an edge that will lift up easily, and then you will need to slowly peel it back, making sure that each of your circles is adhered. If you see any of those circles start to lift up, you'll need to replace the liner and press again. So just slowly peel it back, making sure that everything is adhered properly. And then we just want to repeat this for both sides of all of our fish, and then we'll start to sew them together. Alright, so we're going to put each of these back to back so that they're finished on both sides, and then we're going to sew all the way around the outer edge. I'm going to use white thread for all of these, and you just want to leave a little gap in the bottom. So I'm just going to leave the gap between the two fins, and then since I've sewed this one already, we can just add a funnel to that little gap in the middle, and then we can use that funnel to add something to make a beanbag. So I'm going to add these small rocks. And just a few should be fine. And sort of evenly distribute them throughout your fish. And then you just want to take this back to the sewing machine or hand sew the gap but closed. And now that all our fish are complete, we can put the vinyl shark on our bucket. For this, you're going to need your weeded vinyl piece as well as a piece of transfer tape cut approximately to the same size. You just want to peel back the transfer tape from the liner, put it on the vinyl, then we're going to press it down well. I like to flip the entire thing over and peel back this backing paper from your vinyl. And now we can add this piece to our bucket. So now we'll take our bucket, we'll just put the vinyl down the center of the front. This bucket has some indentions on it. They're kind of like waves. So I'm going to start from the top and press the vinyl down as I go down. That way it'll conform to those waves. Then we'll just use our tool once again. Once you have it pressed down really well on your bucket, you can start removing the transfer tape. Then we'll just want to press down the vinyl really well again, making sure all the bubbles are removed. And our fish toss game is complete. So now they just grab their fish, they grab their bucket, and they start tossing them in from whatever distance you decide is good for the child, depending on their age. So grab your bucket, all your supplies, and of course your Cricut Explore Air 2 and get started on this fun project today. The kids are going to love it. And it's just the perfect timing if you want to use this as a Christmas gift. So get started making it and then wrap it up to put it under the Christmas tree. So thank y'all so much for joining me today, and I will see you next week with a great Cricut craft. So if you love this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, head to our YouTube channel and subscribe. We have Cricut crafts every week and you don't want to miss any of those. So thank y'all so much for being here this week, and I will see you next week with another great video. Thanks y'all. Bye.